Okay, good afternoon and good evening to some of you. Welcome to our information session on Emporia State University, the school of where everything is possible. I'm Mark Daly. I'm the Dean of International Education, and I have two friends with me today. Laura and Manashi, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. We're very excited to have you here. My name is Laura Balon Reyes. I'm from Colombia, and I'm currently studying my master's in informatics with a concentration in quantitative economics here at Emporia State. And I also work as a graduate assistant for the Office of International Education.
Hi, everyone. My name is Munashi Mangwendeza, and just like Laura, I work as a graduate assistant in the Office of International Education. I help with a variety of things in the office, particularly admissions. I'm also studying instructional design and technology. This is my second year in the master's program, so I'll be graduating this December, this fall. But yeah, I'm really happy to help anyone who has questions about Emporia State or studying in the US. And yeah, I'm very happy to help.
Okay, great. So in this presentation, we're going to give you all sorts of information about ESU, where we are, what we do, what we offer, costs and things like that. And we're also going to try to give you a good overview of what we look like and how we feel and what impact studying at a place like Emporia State can have on your life. So we'll start with the where, our location. You see in front of you on the map, a map of 48 of the 50 US states, and we are right in the middle. That's called the Midwest, and some of us call it the Heartland because we all have good hearts, and that is then in Kansas. Emporia is a relatively small city with about 40,000. A little bit about our profile. So we were founded in 1863 as the first public university in the state. As far as size goes for universities, we are a mid-sized university with about 6,000 students, but we are also a global campus with over 400 students from over 60 countries, and you've got two of them on the Zoom with us today, Paola and Manashi. We are a master's comprehensive university, and what does that mean? That means that we focus about 50% of our energies on bachelor's degree preparation and the other half on master's degree preparation. We only have one PhD program. So it is our design, it is our strategy to simply focus on those two degrees so that we can do the best job we can. Students who desire PhDs can finish with us and go on and do that seamlessly. Some accolades, some rankings, some of our prizes. So each year we are listed on as best Midwestern universities by the US News and World Report and Princeton Review publications. This next accolade, I'm particularly pleased to announce, out of the more than 4,000 universities in the United States, we have received the ranking of the 33rd most generous for awarding scholarships, becas, for international students. And so and we'll talk a lot more about that throughout this presentation. We are also the only public university in Kansas to be named a College of Distinction for the 2020-2021 year. And of course, the various programs and schools at the university have accreditation. The university, of course, is accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. And one other accreditation I'll mention here briefly is our School of Business has what's called Aacsb Accreditation. That is very important because fewer than 5% of all business schools on the globe have that accreditation. So that gives you an idea of the quality of that program and the reputation.
I just wanted to point out very quickly that the university is really good at not only giving out scholarships that have already been designed to be scholarships, but also they care a lot about international students as a whole, and especially, you know, how with the situation that we were going through with COVID, a lot of international students got hit pretty badly financially. And in my case, for example, I couldn't come back last semester because the borders were closed, which meant I couldn't start my graduate assistantship. But that didn't mean that the university still didn't care about making sure that I could start my master's studies, and they granted me a scholarship to continue without being physically here and able to start the graduate assistantship.
Right, and just to like add on to what Laura said, you know, the school has many different avenues for funding to help you out as a student. So like during the COVID time, I can recall that the school offered up, was through an application, but there was an emergency scholarship for students who were struggling with funding, and all you had to do was apply. And at the time, you could get up to $1,000 worth of scholarship, which goes a very long way in terms of your education. And I also remember the time we also have student workers, those that actually come to campus every single day and do their jobs physically. And because of COVID, when we had to shut down our campus, you know, students were told to go home. But the school still paid the students the amount that they would have earned if they worked. So Emporia really cares about its students. Everybody's different, everybody's situation is different, but Emporia cares about everyone, and there's so many funding opportunities available for you.
Some breaking news on that. Obviously, COVID continues to affect all of our economies, our families' economic situation, our nations. We were able to apply for some special grants for some international students who are still impacted. Sometimes their families are not able to work right now, and we were awarded a $1,500 grant that we were able to give to one of our students, actually from South America. So that will really help her with her bills. And we just found out a few hours ago. Okay, just a few pictures we want to intersperse so you can see how pretty we are up here. Well, we're pretty, but our campus too. This is a typical shot of a US university in the fall when the leaves all turn orange and yellow and red. This is our old main building called Plum Hall. Many of you in Latin America don't get to see this a lot, depending on your country and whether you're in the mountains, but we do have all 4 seasons, so we do have some snow too. This is a picture of our lake on campus after a pretty snowfall. And then this picture, this is important too. If you visit with the US universities, you'll know that almost all of them have what's called a mascot. And that mascot is some sort of an animal, some sort of a beast, whether it's real or legendary, imaginary, and that's their symbol for their athletics teams, for their academic prowess. Ours is named Corky, and Corky is a hornet, which is sort of like a bee. And here's just a quick video give you a few impressions about international students here.
Hola.
Bonjour.
Guten Tag.
Ni hao.
Salam.
Annyeong.
Привет.
Konnichiwa. Genki desu ka?
Hello. Hey everyone, it's Gabriel Molina, and guess what? The nice weather is already here, spring break has passed, so what have our international students been up to? Well, for starters, people have been enjoying activities inside the university and around the university. Here, you will always find something to do. Some students have been visiting places close by, like Kansas City or St. Louis, Missouri. But if you go a little bit farther, you'll eventually get to Chicago. It's a really popular destination for our students because it's a beautiful big city and it's close by. Now, if we go towards the East Coast, students have been visiting places like Boston, Washington, D.C., and New York. On the other side of the US, some people visited Hollywood, San Francisco, some people went to Universal Studios, which is awesome, and then others went over to Las Vegas. The students who went to San Francisco went there for a business competition called the Holt Prize. Then going down south, Florida, and going down even farther, international students who work for the international office went to Guatemala and Bolivia. Emporia is in a great spot for you to travel around. There's some beautiful places around us, beautiful cities, and if you want to go farther, let's say East Coast or West Coast, you can do it easily.
Okay, great. And there's Gabriel, known as Gabo, and he is from Cochabamba, Bolivia. I think we have a couple of polls right now, don't we?
Perfect. We can start with the first poll. I'm gonna share it. Perfect. Are you guys able to see it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Awesome. You guys are doing really good. What's the name of our mascot? Emporia State University's mascot. Corky, Tommy, B, or Bob? I think we'll leave it up for a couple more seconds, but so far the answers have been coming in. Most of you guys are correct. All right. And our mascot's name is Corky, Corky the Hornet.
Okay. You want to do another one? Good.
Okay, we can do the next one. This is pretty easy, everyone. Let's see. What state is Emporia State University located in? Kansas, Texas, Florida, or New York? All right, the answers are coming in. Interesting. Interesting answers. All right. Let's see, we can share the results. And we're located in Kansas. Most of you were spot on.
Okay. Should we move on?
Perfect.
Okay. I think you just have to stop sharing then.
I think you have to close out of it.
Okay. Well, I think you need to finish. Okay.
Hola.
Bonjour.
Sorry about
Guten
that.
Tag.
PowerPoint has sometimes doesn't like this.
Salam.
안녕.
Привет. Hola.
Bonjour.
Guten Tag.
Ni
Hola.
There we go. Okay, I tricked it. And here's another picture just to show you a little bit of the diversity of the students that we have and what they can do. This is a great shot. I love this because this shows how the city of Emporia invites the international students to participate in the city's homecoming parade. Homecoming is a big parade most university cities have up here that celebrates sort of the big first home American football game. And so usually there's all sorts of different people marching. We work with all the students. We invite them to dress in traditional clothing. We provide them with a flag of their nation. And then they walk down the city street on their way to the football field. And they can have a little bit of pride. And we can show everybody where the different students are from. And while we're on that, just a quick rundown. And Laura and Manashi, you can sort of help me. We do have lots of folks from Latin America. We have folks currently, it's hard because things change, but we have Mexico represented, we have Guatemala represented, we have Panama, Colombia,
Bolivia.
Bolivia, Paraguay, and trying to think right now, Venezuela. And I'm trying to remember, are Ecuadorians and Peruvians right here right now, or did they graduate? Sorry.
They graduated.
They graduated, but we typically have really good representation, and we really enjoy that. Okay. This is an important slide to talk about: security, safety. We all think about this in our home countries, in our home cities, in our schools. We want to be safe when we go out of the house and move around. The city of Emporia is a safe city. It's one of the top 10 safest cities in our state, and that's important. Beyond the city, the university, of course, then is its own little city within the city on that campus. And the FBI does an official report every year of all the campuses across the nation, and it gives them a grade on their safety. And some of the grades are better than others, and we are happy to say that we have a very good grade, and we are ranked consistently year after year the first #1 safest campus in the state. And Laura and Manashi have some things they'd like to say about safety.
Oh yeah, being from Colombia, I'm definitely not used to like having my phone out. I think many people from South America might relate that our parents advise us to not be out on the streets too late, or just to not put ourselves in danger's way. And here in Emporia, I remember that when I first came, there was a big cultural shock for me because I wasn't used to, having my phone out. But here I like just walked to campus having like listening to music. I had my phone outside, choosing the music. Nothing happened. If you have to go study really late at the library, you could, and I've done this before, walk back to your house, to the dorms, and you will feel completely 100% safe.
Right. And like just as like Laura said, you know, like going to the library very late at night, I had many of those and still continue to do. But I remember when I first came and I did that, and I was actually kind of surprised because where I'm from in Harare, Zimbabwe, you don't want to be walking out late at night if you can avoid it. So here, just having that peace of mind, knowing that I'm pretty much in the one of the safest places in the United States, and is a pretty good feeling. And also for your family's sake, like your parents, your cousins, your grandparents, whoever it might be, for them to know that you are somewhere in an environment where you are safe can actually give them that peace of mind. And I like to say help them sleep better at night, knowing that you are safe and doing your studies. So I like that about Emporia.
Okay, great. Here's just a nice shot of some students walking down the sidewalk in between classes. Obviously, this is before COVID, but on a very nice day. And we plan to be, we are fully operational right now. We have a hybrid situation with some face-to-face, some classes all face-to-face, some hybrid and some online. So we do have students here, the residence halls have students, the cafeteria is open, but it's not always very crowded on the sidewalk right now. But our plans are to be fully open and back to normal as much as we can in the fall. Okay, this is a big long list with lots of majors on it. I just put this up here so you can see it. We wanted to impress you with a big number, but you can look at this on our website, on our materials, and talk to us about it in the chat after our show. These are all undergraduate programs. We have over 200 academic programs. On the left, you see majors, and then we have minors. I'm going to say a little bit about what those are, and then Menashe and Laura can say a little bit more. So the majors, that's the significant degree that you're going to study. And we have everything from the fine arts, music, and glass blowing, and all the way to the sciences and business on the other end of the spectrum. We also have the ability to do minors. So that's basically a hefty concentration that can help you then concentrate a little bit more in an area that's close to your major. It can also be something that's completely opposite. It gives you a different sort of a concentration that can help you in a different way. And they can also, so Menashe and Laura, you can talk a little bit about the concept of double majoring and things like that, because that's rather unique to the United States.
Right. And just to build off that, like you can easily double major. So if you have different interests, let's say I don't know, you like biology, and for some reason you also want to do physics or chemistry, you can double major and do those at the same time. Or you can pick up, let's say you pick up biology and then you can minor in let's say in physical science. So there's a lot of different flexibility that you can do. An example that I can give is my own is when I was an undergraduate, my major was accounting, but I really love sports to this day. And I really wanted to kind of get more insight into, coaching education. So I picked up the minor, which was coaching. And in the time that it took me to complete my accounting, I also completed my coaching degree, and I graduated on time, and I got to explore both my interests. So I would highly encourage you to do that if you get that opportunity.
Okay. So graduate degrees, this is a little bit easier slide to see. We pared down the list and really putting up here the most popular majors that international students apply for. And again, you see quite a variety from the arts to sciences, the humanities, and business.
For example, my master's this year and also Nash's, but I'll talk a little bit about mine. I'm doing my master's in informatics, and it's very research and math focused because it's used, or at least the way I'm using my degree is to go to obtain a PhD. So if you're interested in research, know that that's also a possibility, that this is a good, it could be a good program to prepare you for that.
I think it's
And
time. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So, and I'm doing instructional design and technology, as I said before. It's for me, it's been a really good journey. Like my mind has been opened like to so many different opportunities and things that I didn't even know of. Because after my undergraduate, I wanted to do something to do with technology. So after kind of soul searching and finding what my interests are, I came to instructional design and technology, and it's been a pretty good experience, as I said. And just like you know, as I mentioned in undergrad, I also have some friends that are currently doing MBAs and MSIT. So by the time they graduate, they can walk away with you know, 2 master's degrees essentially. So there's a lot of flexibility, and I'll encourage you to explore.
And again, we know this is a lot of information. That's why we're here in the fair, and can chat with you. And feel free to email us. We have WhatsApp. We will respond to you within a day and help you with your questions. But before we go to the next slide, Laura, I think it's time for a couple of polls. We've got some more trivia to get out there, right?
Perfect. All right, we just talked about this, guys. Around how many academic programs does Emporia State offer? We can leave the poll for a couple more seconds, although a lot of people have already answered. All right. So the majority of you were correct. We have around 200 academic programs. Okay, don't forget to close out of your screens.
You want to do another one?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can do. What is our nationwide ranking regarding generosity for international student aid? And someone just asked about this in the chat. So guys, remember that at the end, we will be answering questions. All right. Almost all of you were correct. We are number 33rd in the nation.
Out of more than 4,000, so.
Imagine.
Okay, so next slide. Now we'll get into some mechanics of admissions. If the slide helps. So we're going to go through the admissions really quickly, but one of the things I want to tell you, and it relates to what I said earlier about questions, we want to make this process easy. We realize applying to the United States is very different from applying at home. We don't have specific entrance exams for your major that are given by the university. We're asking for things that your home universities don't ask for. But what we can promise is we have a nice team of people in this office who are looking at the emails, looking at WhatsApp every day that they work here, and will give you an answer. And a number of them also speak Spanish. So if it's you feel a little bit more comfortable or want to have a little charla in Espanol, you can do that. And you've met Laura already, and a little bit later, you'll see the face of Paola, who's also on our team. Maneshi and I will probably do more in English. So the first part is on undergraduate programs. Overall, we want to see a minimum of a 2.5 on a US scale. We ask you to submit your transcript, a copy of your transcript, and a copy that's been translated officially in English. And then we will make that conversion from your home scale, because every country can have a different scale. We'll convert that to our 4.0 scale and figure out where that comes in. SATs and ACTs, we do not require them at all, which is good if you hate tests or if because of COVID and other things you haven't taken it. But if you have taken it and you have a pretty good score, it is still a mechanism by which we can give some scholarships. Not all of our scholarships require, but some do. So the take-home message there is if you have a score, let us see it. And if it can help you with scholarships, fine. And if not, it is not the end of the world. These last two bullets are things that we look at here that are not necessarily what universities in other countries look at. We want to see something about your work ethic. We want to know that you really are interested in studying and you're going to give good effort in your class. We want to see outgoing personalities we want to see students who are going to come here and share something about their home country, their culture, that they're going to be engaged on campus, because we want our students to do more than just go to the class, listen to the professor, and take exams. So that's the undergraduate situation. And then for graduates, and this is the situation really with every graduate program in the United States, the requirements vary by program. Medicine, clinical psychology, veterinary medicine, law, those are programs universally that are quite difficult to get into. There's more desire than there are seats, if you will. So those requirements tend to be higher, and then other programs will be lower. The specific requirements on our website, and again, you can ask us and we'll give you that guidance. And overall, a minimum of a 3.25 on the 4.0 scale is what somebody needs to have to be a competitive candidate. And again, that will vary a little bit depending on the program that they desire. And in some programs too, they'll look if you have some interesting work experience or other practical experiences, and that can play a role. Menashe, do you have something to add about the admissions process?
Yes. So I just want to encourage everyone that, or at least tell you that, don't be intimidated by the application process. It's actually relatively simple. Like here, for example, at Emporia State, we will help you from the moment you submit your application until you get to Emporia State University. There's going to be someone to answer all your questions and everything. So the application process, it's online. So everything you just upload, usually your transcripts, you scan them and then you just upload them, and then we evaluate them. We'll just need your passport and financial guarantee. That's the most common things for each major, for both undergraduate and graduate programs. Those are the most common things that are needed, but each program has different requirements. But like I said, there's always someone to walk you through. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions. And then the last tip that I also want to give, that I always tell everybody, is apply early. Do not wait till the last minute, because I've seen it time and time again that people that apply early are usually the most, successful in terms of getting admitted. So that was just my my tip, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would just add on to that don't be afraid of the process. Menashe and I have been students here. We've gone through this process too, and we know that it can be a little intimidating. So you can count on us if you need help, if you need someone to guide you. We are always an email away, and we always reply within a day or two.
Right.
Just one other thing too, in Latin America, I think all countries, the graduation is in December, right? Right before the long break.
Yeah.
So what happens then is a lot of times then the entry examinations, the applications then for university, they begin after that summer break for South America summer break. Here, believe it or not, students apply months and months before they graduate from high school, or if they're bachelor students, a year before they finish. And the decisions are based on the grades that have already been earned. So I just want to really point out that you do not need to wait. We will make the decision based on the progress that you've made. We'll still want to see the final transcripts, but that gives you the opportunity to plan and get things done early. So please don't think that you must wait until after you graduate. And then a second thing that I like to say to our applicants from Latin America is we welcome people in January. So if you want to start in January, you can. In the US, we start in January and we start in August or September. So those of you who finish up can have a nice, maybe a quick holiday with your family, and then we start in the middle of January. And we can give you more information on that as well later on. Okay. Just a nice picture of the lecture hall and the science building there on the right, on a nice, I'm guessing that's a nice October day. Okay, the costs. This is the screen that we don't like to see because these are the naked costs. These are the costs without scholarships. What are these based on? They're called non-resident, where I have the mouse there. So this is the basic tuition and fees that any student applicant would be charged if they do not come from Kansas. So if you come from Argentina, or if you come from California, if you come from New York or Massachusetts, this is the price. Why? Because we give the lower tuition prices are for the students who live in that state, because those taxpayers support that university. We don't have national universities in the US, we have state. So the out-of-state people, and that would be out of country, often pay more. Luckily though, we have the scholarships, we have the becas, and they come into play too. So the bare costs for a student living on campus in the dormitory, eating in the cafeteria, is a staggering $33,340. It's still a small percentage compared to MIT or Harvard or Princeton, but it's a lot. And then on the right side, you see a similar illustration then for 1 year costs for graduate study for someone who is not a Kansan. Luckily, we don't have any international students who come here without scholarships. It's all, and that's why we have that 33 out of 4,000 ranking, because who wants to come here without becas? This slide then talks a little bit about those scholarships. On the left, you see undergraduates, and on the right, you see graduates. This first one is the very important one. Almost all of our students, if they have a good GPA, decent GPA, qualify for then as tuition scholarship of 55% off from that full tuition price. So it's more than half off for the undergrads. The next one, presidential transfer. Presidential, if you did take the SAT, ACT, there's some scholarships there that we can give you. If you're a transfer student, in the United States, we transfer all the time. It's not a problem. So students may start at a community college, or they may start off at La Nacional, somewhere in Latin America, and then they transfer here. They, if they have good grades, can get money between $1,000 and $3,600 per year. And then the other category, all of our different departments, so it might be mathematics, it might be music, they have their own special monies, and they allocate those monies to students whom they deem meritorious. If they think that they are really good and they want them in their department, then they'll dig into their funds, and they'll offer them something between $500 and $2,000 per year. The other category right next door is talent scholarships. So we have students who are talented with the violin, or they're talented at sculpting, or they're talented playing basketball. So there's a lot of monies there too. With everything except for the talent scholarships, if you just apply, we'll make sure that everybody will look at you and consider you for the scholarships that are there. If you have a musical, artistic, or a sports talent, though, you have to let us know, because we can't guess. And we did have a Paraguaya. Her name was Cindy Severa. She was the lead violinist in our string orchestra, and she had a very attractive scholarship all of her years here because of her violin talent. And now she's gone off to graduate school in, I forgot what state. Do you remember, Laura?
Philadelphia.
She's in Pennsylvania. And she's doing music therapy there. So she was able to do something really cool with her degree here. And she got a lot of scholarships in Philadelphia as well. On the graduate side, somewhat similar. That diversity award, that special scholarship, is half off. The graduate school does have small $500 scholarships for students with high GPAs. They decide on that and give that. And then the crème de la crème, we use the French term, for a graduate student to get would be a graduate assistantship. It's so nice because at most universities in the US, that pays all of the tuition. There still are some fees to pay, but it also provides a stipend, or in other words, a salary. Students work 20 hours a week, and then they get money, and that money can pay those fees, and it can pay the rent, and it can buy the groceries, and maybe even a beer once in a while, and have some fun with your friends. I'll let Laura and Menashe talk a little bit more about their experiences with this. With scholarships.
Okay, so I can start off because I did my undergraduate here at Emporia State too. So I continued into graduate school, but I can share my experiences from my undergrad. And just as what has been mentioned, I had the diversity tuition waiver as an undergrad. I also had the because I did take the SATs, and I also took, my results from my high school, and I was also awarded another scholarship for that. So that helped me pay, well, not me, but my family pay the tuition, so that it was much lower than it would have been. But now, as a graduate student, I consider myself very fortunate. I was able to get a graduate assistantship through the international office, and that really helps because the tuition, I don't have to pay that. All I have to pay is all the other fees that come, with the school. But overall, that significantly helps. I don't think I could have completed my education without that. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Getting a graduate assistantship can help a lot. And I just want to point out that overall, for all these fundings and scholarships, you should apply first and be admitted to the university first. And in the process, we will see here in the office what you can apply for, what you will be eligible for. Because it's very common, and I understand that because I thought the same thing, that you would need to apply for the scholarship and then apply for the school, but it works the other way. You apply for the school, and then the school determines what you can apply for. And same works for the graduate assistantship. We had to be admitted to our master's program in order to apply for the graduate assistantship. So that's something to also keep in mind. And I think it's time to do a couple of polls, I think. Okay, let's see. Okay, this one is a good one. During which century was Emporia State founded in? When were we founded? There was a close tie. Okay, I can understand how this is confusing. Honestly, if I hadn't studied here for a while, I would have also not known. Okay, let's see. We were founded in the 19th century, but I can understand why some people see the 18th or the 20th. And then let's do this one. Which countries are we from? The presenters. Oh, everyone is right. Almost everyone. A tricky one. But almost everyone was right. We are from the US, from Zimbabwe, and from Colombia. All right. I think that's good for the polls. Then we can close out of that. Perfect.
Okay. All right. And the next slide is just a quick illustration of what one scholarship can do to the cost. So this just applies that 55% off there, and you see that takes it down drastically. But as I showed on the other chart, there are ample opportunities to gain more scholarships, up to 3,600 for on the one category. So it can take it down pretty well. Living expenses, it's also worth noting that in different US cities, it's different. So if you were to study in Chicago or Dallas or New York City or LA, it would be much cheaper to live on campus. In Emporia, actually, once the students spend that initial time on campus, especially if they're, if you're just 17 or 18, jovencitas, you want to, so it's, you're there, you make new friends, you live in the dorm and you eat the cafeteria food. But when you're a little older and you move off campus, or for grad students, it's significantly cheaper. And Laura Manashi, if later on you want to message them, they can give you some estimates for how much they actually spend each month for their rent and utilities and food. But in our case at our institution, it is cheap per live off campus, and most people are within 1,000 meters or 500 to 1,000 meters of campus, so you can easily just walk. And the same thing on the graduate side, it takes that down significantly in price. And of course, if you get a graduate assistantship, it takes it down, even it takes out all of the tuition entirely. All right, now a little bit about some former students. Panashi, you want to cover this one?
Yes. So just to start off this particular slide, we have a placement percentage of 98%. And basically what that means is that 6 months after our graduates graduate, they either go on to pursue even higher education, whether that's graduate school, PhDs, or they wound up getting a job. So we've got a pretty high placement rate. But talking about graduates and alumni, I would like to highlight, this is Ms. Nukasha Green. Actually, I had the opportunity to meet her during my undergraduate studies because she worked as a graduate assistant. So the position that I now have, she had it as when I was an undergrad student. And I worked as a student ambassador. So I used to help welcome new students during orientation. And that's how I got to meet and work with her. Very nice lady, but she did school counseling, and now she's gone on to work at a prestigious international school as a school counselor. So yeah, there are many avenues, and this is just one of our very notable alumni who's made the most of it.
Okay. And then Laura, would you like to do Paola?
It'd be my pleasure. We also have a very wonderful current undergraduate student from Guatemala. Her name is Paola Galvez. She's double majoring in physics and math. And she's been the recipient of many scholarships. She started with the diversity scholarship that we talked about just now. She also got the presidential scholarship. And one of the most notable ones is the Enley Memorial Scholarship, which all undergraduate students can apply, and it's a full scholarship for a year. So it covers everything: tuition, fees, and living expenses. So she got that for her second year of university. And yesterday she won another scholarship called the Shepherd Scholarship for juniors. So people that are in their third year of university. And we have a video of Paula explaining a little bit more about her experience here as a Hornet.
Just want to say really quick before we go to her video, one of the things about Paula and even Munashe, Laura came to us from a partner university, otherwise she would have probably done this, but both Paula and Munashe went to the Education USA offices in their cities, and that's a tremendous resource for all of you. So many countries have, the larger countries have many offices. They have online things, they have info sessions, different charlas informativas. Use them, help them. For instance, in Paula's case, I worked with Marcial in Guatemala City, had visited several times. He reached out and said, the Galvez family is really close to being able to make things work for ESU. She's very interested, she's very smart. I had met her. And he said specifically how much they were lacking. And I was able to personally, professionally go around and find a little bit of extra scholarship to make it work. And boy, did it work. It got her here. And then she's just done so well that she continues to get more and more scholarships. Use the Education USA network and other helpers down there, and don't be shy to ask us directly. That's why we're here. Okay, now we'll hear from Paola herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Paola. I am an international student from Guatemala here at Emporia State University. I am a junior, double majoring in physics and mathematics. And throughout my time here, I have been grateful to receive many scholarships at ESU. One of them being the Enley Memorial Scholarship, which is a full ride for 1 year. And the other one was a great experience as well. It was the ESERP, which is a grant for undergraduates to research here with an on-campus faculty. I encourage you to apply. There are many opportunities to get funds for international students here, and fingers up.
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is
Hi, my name is Ifeanyi Martin Okonkwo.
Okay, sorry, the transition between the videos is not being so great. So here's another student. Do we want to introduce him first or after?
I could introduce him.
Okay, go ahead. I'll keep it held here.
Okay, so that's the gentleman you just saw. That's Martin Okonkwo. He's from Nigeria. He's actually a friend of mine, and like if you remember what I said, he's one of the people that did the MBA and MSIT at the master's level and graduated with that, and now he's working for Geico, which is an insurance company in here in the United States.
Here we go.
Hi, my name is Ifeanyi Martin Okonkwo, and I am an alum of Emporia State University. While at ESU, I studied information technology and business administration. Emporia State University empowered me in so many ways. One is the sense of belonging and community. Emporia State has over 130 organizations that students across the campus can join. I was a member of some of these organizations, especially in the School of Business. This helped me connect with my fellow students outside the classroom, and also an opportunity for me to build my leadership experience, all while contributing to our community as a whole. I'm glad I took advantage of these opportunities because it helped shape the person I am today. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit, guys, because we're getting close to we're at the 45-minute mark. What do our alumni do? Just really quickly, we wanted to put up a few things. We showed you ESU. We want you to do engaging things, do exciting things. We also want you to know that once you leave ESU, you can continue doing exciting things. People get exciting jobs. Many of our graduates have gone on to become faculty members, so professors at universities across the world, back home, in some cases in the United States. Many of you probably have heard of the company Alibaba in China, sort of the Chinese Amazon, if you will. We have a student there who's a manager. I met him in Shanghai 2 years ago, just a really neat guy with a great career. We have an alum who works at the World Bank. One of our alums was a former minister of finance in a Latin country, but I won't say which one. Many of our students go on to get PhDs at other places, either directly from their bachelor's, or if they do their master's here, they go on. And these are just a few examples of some that come up quite frequently: University of Kansas, University of Washington in Seattle, University of Kansas School of Medicine, State University of New York, Kansas State University, and St. Louis University. Some of these guys are such hard workers that they don't even want to stop after they're called, after they get their doctorate, they want to do a postdoctorate. And there's three examples, and these three are folks, postdocs are very common in the STEM fields and the sciences. So we have one who went to the Yale School of Medicine, one to Washington University in St. Louis, and one to Northwestern, as you know, just outside of Chicago. All right. Who's doing this slide?
Sure, I can share a little detail. So just as you've heard, like in the previous video that Martin said, there's over 130 student organizations. So there's a lot of stuff to get involved in, just besides being in the classroom, that help you grow as a student and as an individual, so that when you graduate, you leave as a more well-rounded individual. So personally, I've been involved in the soccer club because, I like to play soccer. So we have that, and we go and we play, different universities teams that have soccer clubs. I'm also part of the African club, which in essence is to promote African culture and also bring African students together. I've been in many various other clubs during my undergraduate time, such as the student government, so many different things that you can kind of immerse yourself to grow your leadership skills. And we highly encourage that at Emporia State, to get involved within your community. So it's a pretty awesome experience.
Absolutely. I think they do say that there's a place for, or a club for everyone, and that
Right.
is 100% true. Whatever interest you have, you can find a club on. I, for example, am the vice president of the Hispanic American Leadership Organization, which brings together Latinos that are either born here in the US or are internationals like myself, and also other people that are interested in Latino culture. And that's been a pretty good experience to see other perspectives. And I'm sure that there are other clubs that any activity that you're interested in, there's a club that you can find.
So engagement, 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 not just learning in the classroom, but also you can engage in just some fun. Sometimes we just throw a party. We invite a band and we turn on the lights and we party. And sometimes we go and we watch a game. So this is our American football stadium. Obviously there's no game right now, but it's a pretty picture of that. And sometimes when there's not a game, we might do something in the evening, like have some fireworks to the north of the campus and just sit on the turf and watch them with our friends. Here's a little video of a few international students, and they're just sharing where they're from and how many thousands of miles they came to come. Whoops. If it will let me.
I'm from Egypt. I traveled over 6,700 miles.
I'm from Estonia.
I'm from Iran.
I'm from South Korea.
I'm from Mali. I'm from France.
I'm from Syria.
I'm from Tunisia and I traveled 5,400 miles.
I come from China.
I'm from Finland.
I'm from Saudi Arabia and I traveled almost 7,500 miles from home to become a Hornet.
Gives you a little bit of an idea and some faces and voices. Okay, moving right along. What we like to do, what we like to call ourselves is the school of different things. You saw in the title where the school of everything is possible. We have this campaign like this because we want to show that your experiences at Emporia State really are authored or created by you yourself, by the student. We're here, we have the infrastructure, we offer the classes, the degrees, but it's how you meet us in the middle and what you do with that that creates your experience and your future. So we have this kind of a neat thing called the School of Fill in the Blank. You come here and you write it in yourself. A little bit more capricious, if you will. We have the one on the left, the School of Surprises around every corner. We have a very vibrant theater program, student theater program, and those are two actors in a comedy, obviously in a silly scene. Or on the right, where the School of Getting Out of Class, again, that's sort of a fun thing. But there's a bit of irony there because those students are in a classroom, they're biology majors, and they are on a trip in the Bahamas. And so this is actually class, scuba diving. We are another sort of a fun one. We're the School of Never a Dull Moment. We offer the things, but it's up to the students to come and attend and take advantage and also dream of their own activities and their own clubs and keep it exciting, keep it real. And then finally, then the School of Everything is Possible. All right, now we just have a little bit of a campus tour. You guys, I'm going to try to drive through this quickly, but and actually, Laura, if you do want to jump in and say something about one of the photos, go ahead. This is our old main, our original building, sort of that classic US college style architecture. This is the front of our student union. So this is the place for students to go hang out. The clubs meet there. There's cafeterias and Starbucks and all sorts of things there. So it's really the students' building. This is our oldest residence hall from the 1920s, just absolutely modernized and brand new and open for business again. This is one of our mid-century ones. These are called the towers. So you get an idea of some of the residence halls. This is also a brand new one. It's in its third year right now as well. All of our res halls have kitchens for the people on the different floors so they can cook and share meals and with their floor mates and their friends. And of course, there's the cafeteria. Just a nice shot of the campus. Another shot here. This is by the science building. Kramer Hall, it's a School of Business. We like to take photos in the fall because the leaves are so pretty. This is a newly renovated space inside the School of Business. They've got really nice study areas, group study areas, so you can get together with a few friends and prepare things. This is the inside of the Teachers College. So this is the School of Education where students go to learn to become teachers in elementary school and high school. Here's another shot of our lake on a summer day, not on a winter day. And that's the Student Union in the background, another side of that building. If you want to stay in shape and not gain too many kilos from all the French fries, then you can come to this rec center and lift weights or do a Zumba class or do whatever you want. There's all sorts of inside exercises there, individual and group and otherwise. Here's a shot of the salad bar in the cafeteria. Just some impressions from across the campus. One of the sidewalks, you see it's a bell tower there on the right. Behind that's the football stadium, and in the background here is another residence hall. Here's another snow shot on the bridge of the lake. There's a story about this bridge. If you have your first kiss with your lover on this bridge, it means the two of you will be married. So either, I'll say it in Spanish, either buena suerte or cuidado. Watch it on this bridge. And then this is a really nice shot of one of our quirky hornets in a nice snow event. And then here's a nice drone shot. This is where the campus ends, and that's sort of the one of the main shopping streets of the city. And then again, Plum Hall with an aerial. All right, and that concludes our formal presentation. I think we have a little bit of time for some Q&A. A couple of minutes. Here's a question. We are Division 2. So we Division 1, Division 2. So Division 2. I'm a student from Jamaica, started my bachelor's in business. What's the minimum credit for me to be a transfer? What minimum GPA should be accepted? So there's no minimum of credits for you to transfer. You can come at any point in time, and that minimum GPA that we had up there earlier, really just that to 2.5 or so is fine for that. And you can send some materials to us and email, and we can look at that and or talk to us in the chat later on. We do not require TOEFL. You can take Duolingo, you can do IELTS, you can do none of the above. It depends. Some of the students come and finish up their English preparation here. There's all sorts of different pathways and possibilities for that. If you want to talk to us again more specifically about where you are with your English proficiency, we can give you some guidance in the chat room later on. Not sure if this was already said, but oh yes, this is a great question. We did not say that. Every international student is allowed to work 20 hours per week in a campus job, and there are plenty of different campus jobs beyond being a graduate assistant. So Paola, she works at the front desk, and she also helps with admissions. People work in the cafeteria. We have a Korean student working in the Starbucks. So yes. How high would a GPA need to be to get a scholarship? It's a sliding scale, and Manashi, what does it start? The scholarships start off at about a 3.0, is that correct?
Yeah, 3.0 generally. Yes.
A 3.0, and we can share with you what that is, or you can just tell us what your GPA is in the chat later, and we can tell you what that would be. And again, partly would depend on whether you have an SAT or an ACT, but the money starts rolling at a 3.0. Someone says thank you, and yeah, I thank you. And you apply by going to our website, and basically there's a very easy button that says push here to apply, and it just opens up and you start typing in your demographic information, who you are, where you're from, and then you upload your materials. You can upload a copy of your transcript, and as Baneshi said later on, at some point you'll need to give us a copy of your passport and your financial statement, things like that. But it's super easy and online. And if anybody ever gets stuck somehow, again, you can just WhatsApp us or email us, and we can walk you through it. And since we're also proficient with Zoom, we maybe can even help you via Zoom and tell you, wait, move your mouse to the right, move your mouse to the left. But here to help. Do we have a travel agency to help with a study permit? We will give you some pretty good guidance on how to get a visa. You need a student visa. F1 visas and J1 visas for degree-seeking students is really an F1, but we'll give you some good guidance. And we also recommend that you talk with folks at the Education USA offices. Secret about Education USA, they have very good connections with the American embassies in their countries, and can give you firsthand information. Sometimes they know something about that embassy before we do because they're next door, and sometimes they're even in the same building. And then
Just
Laura,
to pause you there.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
Yes.
we're tight on time today, so I will
Yes.
have to wrap you up for this presentation.
Okay, perfect. So we'll get to those other questions later on in the other part of the fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a great reason why you should go check out their booth and to ask them all your questions if they weren't answered here. But this was a great presentation. Thank you so much for your time to all of you. It was so insightful, and I'm sure everyone got something out of it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Hope
you
to
all.
see you all in the booth later. Have a great
Bye
evening.
now.
Bye-bye.